the time that we're seeing them on the field. We're also upping the time of team periods. We saw 3 team periods yesterday. Today we'll see 4. So they're going to see more reps of those younger guys that might not have been able to get as much exposure without a preseason. So those added team periods are going to be very, very crucial for the Broncos here today. Now, yesterday, the defense had a very productive day out on the field. A.J. Boye with a nice interception there. Coach Fangio saying the day prior that he wanted to see practice become more crisp. And yesterday, the secondary showed out. Kareem Jackson with a very nice interception. The offense, though, they did contribute. Albert O, a very successful day, a Steve Atwater A-list type day. He caught a touchdown pass in the red zone period. That athletic tight ends room is going to be one to watch when it comes to those competitions at training camp. We've also been talking about all camp long virtual fans. We miss seeing Broncos Country out here, and we also miss seeing the Broncos players' families. Now, the families are mainstays here at Broncos Camp. Some of them come out here every single day. And while they can't be here physically in person, virtually is the next best thing. So let's listen in on the warm welcome that we saw yesterday from Jeff Driscoll's family and today from Jarrell Casey's.
Hey, hey Jeff.
Congratulations, Broncos!
Go!
Jarrell Casey almost missed the wall there. Had to go back, do a double take in order to see his family. We're also today on Twitter. You see it right there. We're able to stream on Twitter now. So our Twitter viewers, thank you for tuning in. We're also on Facebook Live and YouTube live streaming. So drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching Broncos Camp from here today. Another big part of our Broncos family is Alfred Williams. Big Al, as he's known around these parts. We went through the tape. He's our special guest today. We went through the tape to find the best moments of Big Al, and we had to show you the best of Big Al mic'd up. We should have seen his TV and radio career coming just by looking at these clips.
That's my fan club! That's my fan club! All I want to do is have some fun! Let's go, Romanowski! You make me sick with that old tough guy image. All right, Romanowski! Oh, my God! We got the balloon man! We got the balloon man! Oh, my God, look at the last guy. He has a foot cam. When last time you seen a foot cam?
Never.
Lodo, you see the foot cam?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta be a little crazy to play this game. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
NFL Films must have been pleading with the Broncos to get Alfred mic'd every single game he was in an orange and blue jersey. We're also going to show you Alfred's touchdown right here against the Cincinnati Bengals. Alfred was a national champion at CU, a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos. This man is Colorado football personified. The state of Colorado and football would not be the same without Alfred Williams, and he is standing by with Steve Atwater. And Steve, on Monday's show, Alfred said there was a little bit of friendly fire during practice, and if you hit me in practice as hard as I've seen you hit some guys, I don't know if we'd be friends, so I'm glad you and Al have a good relationship.
Yeah, boy, I would never do that to you, and I didn't do that to Alfred that much. I think he's exaggerating a little bit, and thanks for the great introduction. And
maybe you missed.
See how much fun Alfred had on the football field? Would anybody think that anyone could have that much fun on the field?
Man, I had a blast because it was a dream come true to come back here to Colorado and play for the Denver Broncos. It was something I wanted to do since 1987. I used to sit in my dorm rooms and I used to watch the games, and I would watch the games, and it was different watching the Broncos play because the screen always was shaking. You know what I'm saying? Because over at Old Mile High,
right,
they put the cameras down on the bleachers, and I'm telling you, man, it was great. I just always wanted to be part of that, and when I finally got a chance, I just said, man, I'm bringing it home. I said, I'm bringing it home. It was important for me to bring it home. So
I'm glad you got to the NFL because you should have been doing your homework.
I want to bring it home, though, man. I want to bring it home.
Well, thanks for joining me today, Alfred. You've been on the last couple of days with us, kind of in the background, but you're right here front and center at the big stage over there for you. How you like your seat in the building? You've been complimenting this space here, man. You like this. You want them to do this every year now.
No, I think that this is unbelievable. I think the access that you have here is probably as good as I've ever seen it. I mean, the only access that could be better is that of John Elway's up in the GM's position, or Joe Ellis's from the president's position. But did I get that reversed? Is Elway the president and Joe Ellis is what is?
So you got it mixed up.
Team president. There you go. Those offices over there are unbelievable. I remember coming here as a guy going into the NFL draft and got a chance to come and visit with the Denver Broncos.
Visited before the draft?
Yes, because Dan Reeves brought me over here, and that facility in 1991 was brand new.
Yes.
I mean, you were here for that. I mean,
it changed quite a bit since then, right?
Oh, man. I remember walking in there and seeing the facility, and I was like, oh, this is sweet.
Right.
And then I was drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals, and we were working out of tough sheds.
You're like, wait a minute, now, what happened? But you probably got the idea, like I did, that like all NFL teams were like this, right?
I did. I really did. I thought that this was the normal way of business in the NFL, but it's just that the Broncos have really invested heavily in their players and their facilities, and Mr. Bolin had the foresight to get the property next door to the facility so that, you know, there could be expansive growth at some point. And we look at that field house, and that's just part of an area that used to just be a dirt parking lot. This is where you used to put the players who were dissidents cars on up there and leave the car running during practice.
Over there and back over here. Yes.
You remember putting them up there on this area, and then you start the rookie's car or the dissident's car. And
then we start stretching, and then while we're stretching, we look up and say, whose car is that?
Right, and it'll be running. And so by the time you get done with practice, the battery's dead, and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what that hill was.
Oh, man, those were some fun times. Alfred, early projections on the team, your early thoughts on the team. I know they've only been practicing in pass for a couple of days, but what are your thoughts so far overall?
I think the team is poised to have a great year. You know, I've always said that if you have the players, that's half of the equation. And I think that we have the players. The other half in football is the coaches, because without great coaching, it's hard to win in this league. I don't care how talented you are. I can tell you a story. When I played for the Cincinnati Bengals, we had 9 first-rounders on the defensive side of the ball, and we had a lot of high-drafted players on the offensive side of the ball.
Why did y'all get the draft so high all the time?
Because we lost all the time. So therefore you get high draft picks.
I didn't know that.
But the trick is to find the coaches who can get these players to shine.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to have players, but to have the coaches who can put you in positions to win, you know, that's another thing.
That's funny. I wanted to ask you just a little bit about that. You know, what can coaches do to elevate their players? Or I mean, how come some coaches can do it and others can't?
That's a good question. You know, I think that in this league, there are really only 8 really great offensive play callers and around 11 great defensive play callers. And trying to find the guys who can do it year in and year out is always a problem. Now, most people think that it's just because a guy has a good quarterback, and the quarterback makes the offensive coordinator. But what I found in this business is, especially on the offensive side, the great offensive coordinators can get the quarterback easy throws. And when you get the quarterback easy throws, they're completions, and then that leads to first downs, which inevitably lead to touchdowns.
Okay. Now, but still, though, everybody can't do it. Why not? I mean, is it the coaches? Is it the players? I mean, can coaches do it regardless of the type of players they have?
I think good coaches in this league should win a bare minimum of 5 games. A bare minimum.
Even if they have a bunch of bad players.
Even if you don't have what you need or what you think that you need, you should win 5 football games no matter what. And when you can't win 5 football games, that means that you don't have what it takes to be, an offensive coach, a defensive coach, especially not a head coach that evaluates everything.
But what if it's the players, though?
Well, you still should be able to generate 5 wins. I don't care who you have out there.
But 5 wins, you're not going to last too long.
Well, 5 wins just says that you can do it. Think about all the teams out there that have had, 2, 3, sometime a 1-win season. I mean, that makes no sense. And even when you're trying to tank it, we thought the Miami Dolphins were trying to tank it last year, but in the end, they ended up being a solid team because the coaches understood what the players could do. Now, that could take some time figuring out what your players can and can't do in the clutch. But I'll tell you this, from my experience, the really good coaches should get you 5 wins no matter what. And when you have a great coach and great players, you can start looking at double-digit wins consistently. Right. And that's a hard thing to do in this league, win 10 games.
No, I'm with you. We're showing Jerry Atwater. He had a good day yesterday. I know you were bragging on him yesterday as well.
I love this guy. I mean, I love this guy. There's something about his energy. It's almost like a nervous energy when he's playing the game. And when I saw him yesterday, he just kept on making plays. And, those are the kind of guys in practice where you look at and you say, well, he's on a mission and you need to slow down. Offensive linemen don't like it when you're going hard every time.
So you need to slow down.
Well, listen. I remember when I was a young buck and I wanted to do something special. I heard veterans telling me to slow down, but this dude, Atwater, he is not going to slow down. And number 58, Von Miller, man, he had a day yesterday. He wrecked the offense.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he wrecked the offense, Water.
It is crazy to have that type of ability when you say, all right, whenever I decide I'm going to get to the quarterback, I can get to the quarterback.
Or how about this? I saw a counter play to him yesterday, and he just absolutely wrecked that play and made it a negative loss play. Sometimes when you have great players and you have a play in your playbook, you tend to throw that play out when the great player takes it away from you, right? Because you say, that's not going to work.
Right.
But, sometimes it's just because it's Von Miller over there.
Right. It's not the play, it's just the player.
Right. The player over there just took that. Not every player is going to be able to make the play, the way that Von Miller can make plays.
Yeah. What did you think about his comments earlier just about, him being, looking at football a little bit differently now after watching the series with Michael Jordan and what happened with Kobe and, everyone, all the comments about the type of person he was. And just digging back, what do you think about Von Miller, his comments of him wanting to be better from looking at that?
Well, I think that when you think about Von Miller, you think about all the things that he's already done in his career. Right. I mean, the guy is going into year 10 in the NFL, and he is 3/4 of the way to a gold jacket. So to hear him say that he wants to be better speaks to his maturity. Because, when you finish this game, and I finished after 9 years, I look back at age 51 and say, what else could I have done? And there's so many more things that I could have done to be a better player, but didn't realize it till I was done. At least he has a chance after year 9 to do all the things that he wants to do and recognize that there's still time to do it. So he'll put the work in, he'll put the study habits in, but more importantly, he'll inspire his teammates.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. That's what you were the greatest at, is inspiring us to go out and play the game the right way. I remember you telling me a story about the great Dennis Smith that changed my whole perspective about football. When you said that you were running to make a play,
yes,
and all of a sudden
Dennis came flying by me and bam, ran into the guy like, I thought I got to pick it up, man.
So you saw Dennis Smith. You told me this when you were playing, and it kind of changed my perspective, because all I saw was you just playing hard, but having a guy like Dennis Smith for you must have been outstanding, because he set the standard.
He set the standard, and he taught me so much. In addition, like I said, Charlie Waters, he was a great defensive backs coach my rookie year. He had played. I had a ton of respect for him, but to be able to have Dennis, a guy who not only was teaching me, but was showing me, all right, this is how you go up in there. Right. Like you going to be like a man.
Right.
It helped my game. It helped my mentality. It just helped me as a person to be able to have someone like that that I could watch do it, and then I try to mimic it.
Plus, he was a gentleman.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was a gentleman. No, I don't think people understand how good of a guy he was, outside of football, just like you. I mean, it was, when you have guys like that to set the stage, man, it's easy to step in and play that way. And Von Miller for this team is that guy.
Yeah. Showing Devontae Bosby there. He had a good day yesterday.
I really like him.
Yes.
I really like him. I think that, when you look at the cornerbacks, maybe people didn't understand what we were working with, but Bosby is one of those guys that is, you can look at him like a face mask. He's always covering something.
I like that. In A.J. Bouyer's interview yesterday, he mentioned that he was watching film, and, hey, Bosby stood out to him. That was, right when he signed with the team. Like, man, this guy can make some plays, and that's impressive when your peers notice that you're doing things the right way.
Yeah, I think when we got A.J. Bouye to come in and fill that void that Chris Harris left, I thought that was a great move. But then it feels like this secondary is starting to look and shape up like one of those special secondaries that you played in and we've seen around here for many years. Of course, the safety position here with the Denver Broncos is the premier position for this team, and that position is
right there at 31.
Yeah, that position has been rekindled again, with great players making plays. Now, I don't know about the two deep at the safety position. You're going to have to tell me about those guys, but the number one guys are fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, and Trey Marshall, he's been here. I think this is his third year with the Broncos. He's had opportunities to play some when guys have gone down. He stepped in and done a good job. And I think Doug Coleman, guy I believe from Texas A&M, Ed Donatel is pretty high on this guy, just thinking that he has an opportunity to play in the league. Now, we'll have to wait and see if he develops into a person who can be a starting safety or not. But, the prospects are good on him. And he has to just go out and show everyone what he can do out there. But, yeah, our top two safeties,
right,
Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, I think they're two of the best, maybe the best tandem in the league.
Right, but, the reason I asked you about the third guy is because we lost Will Parks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Will Parks ended up playing a lot last year. I went back and I watched the Raider game yesterday because I was having some ideas about the quarterback position and whether or not I was watching and seeing the right thing. So I went back to the last game, and then, all of a sudden Will Parks is just showing up over and over again, and that just got me to thinking today that's going to be my position of emphasis when I'm looking out there to see who can be that replacement.
Yeah, and now the thing is, though, many times Will wouldn't necessarily be going in for a safety. Sometimes he would be going in to cover tight ends or to actually play almost like the cornerback position. And I think with the cornerbacks we have now, we have the bigger cornerback. We have, of course, Isaac Yadam.
He had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Michael O.J. Moutier from the rookie out of Iowa. These are bigger corners who should be able to cover the tight ends and be able to fill that void that Philly Will Parks did so well while he was here.
Yeah, I was looking at the tight ends in the AFC West, and my goodness, man.
Oh.
I mean, you talking about beasts, man. Darren Waller, last year, the tight end from the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, he
had a screenplay.
Breakout year.
He had a screenplay against us last year in the last game of the year. The guy looked like he was a running back or a wide receiver. Tremendous speed. Kelsey over with the Chiefs is now the highest paid tight end. That says a lot when you're the highest paid at any position. It means that you are the best,
yes,
most likely, or at least that they want you to be considered the best if you're being paid the most. And then out, the Chargers. I still want to call them the San Diego Chargers. They always seem to have 2 or 3 tight ends that could just really hurt you.
Yeah. And but now we have tight ends that I think our tight end group is maybe the deepest of them all.
Right. I mean, not only deep, big.
Yes.
Physical.
Yes.
And fast.
Yes.
I mean, that's a great combination. I never liked playing against the tight ends that were 6'6", because I'm 6'6", and when we're both standing up, I can't see the runner. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I need those guys to be like 6'4", 6'3".
Take advantage of them. Huh?
Yeah, because I can look right over top of them. But these big tight ends can cover up guys, and with a guy like Phillip Lindsay, man, I'm telling you, if you are not in your gap momentarily, he'll make it hurt.
Yeah. Hey, to all of our viewers out there in Broncos Country, please go to Facebook and vote on our poll to select the position group. We're going to change it up a little bit today. We've been doing the players. We're going to go by position group today. Select the position group that you want us to focus our cameras on for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. Well, for 5 or 10 minutes or so, a little later on the show after you guys vote. Now, we'll announce this position group with the most votes a little later in the show. And the position groups for today's polls are, first off, defensive ends, secondly, nose tackles, and then finally, the position that I had so much fun playing, the safeties. And the defensive ends, here are a list of some of those. Shelby Harris, 6 seasons in the NFL, 4th season with the Broncos. Last year was his first year starting all 16 games. Finished the season with 49 tackles, 6 sacks. Had a great job. And Shelby Harris used to bat down so many passes. And I love his game. I was so happy when the Broncos signed Shelby back.
That's the best deal since the Louisiana Purchase.
Yes.
I mean, getting this guy back for the money that they paid him, that's a fantastic deal for the Denver Broncos, and that's a guy that you can depend on. They started him off the year playing nose tackle, and then then they moved him out to defensive end, where he just absolutely just showed out on 1st and 2nd down. I think he led the league last year on 1st and 2nd down sacks.
Yeah.
So and plus the disruption with the batted balls was just outstanding.
Yeah, he's got that down to an art. Also, we got Jarrell Casey as the other defensive end. This is his 10th year in the NFL. He spent his first 9 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, and this will be his first year with the Broncos. Yes, he's greeted by his family there on the Zoom meeting there. That's so awesome that so many people can be here virtually and not have to get out of their beds. Hopefully they don't try to go to that next year.
I'm looking forward to him.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing Jarrell Casey and that interior movement. There's nothing like a big guy who is quick and can also move around with some aggression. And that's exactly who we got in Jarrell Casey. Losing Derek Wolfe was a big piece of this defense for so many years. And the reason it was a big piece, Water, is because Derek Wolfe allowed Von Miller to have two-way goals. When you're on the same side rushing the passer as you are with the talented guy like Von Miller, then you want to give him the option to go both inside and outside. So what you do if you're Derek Wolfe is just take the guy right down the middle and push, right? Mm-hmm. Well, then the first year not really having that same responsibility, Derek Wolfe had a huge year. And he was on his way to having double-digit sacks for the first time in his career, and he got injured. But now we replace that guy with a guy who is silky smooth, once again aggressive and also quick in Jarrell Casey. I think that was a great addition to the team after a huge loss of Derek Wolfe.
No, I agree. And also, the last 5 seasons, each of the last 5 seasons, Jarrell Casey has been a Pro Bowler. And you wonder, how does a team let a guy go after, having such a great career, playing his whole career there? But, hey, we won't even ask any questions. We'll just be happy.
Mostly it's the money, really.
Welcome here.
I mean, after a while, if the guy's healthy, you say the money is starting to become an issue. And they had to take care of Derrick Henry this year, who led the NFL last year in rushing. You have Tannehill, who was their quarterback last year, came out of nowhere and became a superstar, getting a chance to play and unseating a guy like Mariota.
Yeah.
That was, they had to get rid of somebody
Right.
to take on those two salaries.
Right. And finishing off the defensive ends, we got Demarcus Walker, of course, going into his 4th year. He was a second-round draft pick of the Broncos in 2017. Last year, played in 10 games, started 1, had 22 tackles and 4 sacks. And then the last defensive end we're going to mention here is, we're going to go back. We forgot about Draymond Jones, who I think has a ton of potential. And that defensive line, defensive ends are going to be so solid. Shelby Harris, Draymond Jones, Jarrell Casey, Demarcus Walker. Now, I don't know how many of those guys are going to make it. And Christian Covington, that came over from the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be some great competition, and that's what I love about what these coaches have done. They've brought in great players at each position where everybody's competing. And now we know Jarrell Casey, Shelby Harris, they're going to be here. They'll probably be the starters, but these young guys, they're going to push them, and we're going to have great depth at each of the positions.
Yeah, and when you consider, what this means for a defensive line, and we just strictly talking about the 3 guys that are part of the 3-4. It's only usually 5 of those guys that are part of an active roster, and if you have a tough time, maybe you go to 6. So you're talking about the 3 starters, Jarrell Casey, you look at Shelby
Purcell.
Harris and Mike Purcell as those 3 guys. So you only get 2 of those positions to usually fill out that roster. So I think there's going to be some heavy, heated competition for those next 2 spots.
I agree.
Those next 2 spots, if they keep 6, it's because McTelvin is a 3rd-round draft pick, right? But you're going to have to project him playing both inside and outside, right? So it's it's going to be tough.
It's a good problem to have, though, right?
It's a good problem to have. You just, you don't know about the rookie because we won't have any preseason games, right? You got a guy that you draft so high.
Chances are, McTelvin's going to be on the team.
Oh, he's going to be on the team, but I'm saying, how can he help?
Yeah.
How can he help?
We listened to Austin Slotman when he gave his interview the other day, and he mentioned that, hey, not only was Jarrell Casey and Mike Purcell doing well, but also he mentioned McTelvin Agent. He said he's doing a nice job as well. So, getting notoriety or, just getting recognition from the offensive linemen certainly helps as well. Let me move on to the nose tackle. I want to finish all these players that we have in this Facebook poll so our fans can decide right quick. I'm just going to run through these last ones. The nose tackles, Mike Purcell, of course, in his 5th season, 2nd season with the Broncos, 2019. He had 7 starts out of the 13 games that he played in, 48 tackles, 28 solo. And, of course, McTelvin Agim, he's a 3rd-round draft pick. Where'd he go? Woo, pig suit. Oh, I can't say it. I can't do that here in Colorado. We got the Bucks.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's right. But man, Benjamin Albright, he's Arkansas guy too. And then finishing off the nose tackles, we got Deshaun Williams. And moving over to the safeties, oh man, we just talked about them a little bit earlier. Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, Trey Marshall. And then we have a couple of younger guys who obviously they're going to have to play a lot of special teams, but hopefully they'll be able to contribute if anybody goes down, if anybody gets hurt. And I know that the coaching is great, so they'll be good to go. P.J. Locke, again, and Doug Coleman rounding out the safeties there. We got a good team here, Alfred.
I'm excited. I'm hyped about them, man. I'm really hyped about this team. I'm really hyped about our 2 deep. I think the starters across the line are what they should be in the NFL. We have some special players. I always say that if you're going to win and win big, you need at least 14 bricks on your team. And when you look at the Denver Broncos,
What are bricks?
Bricks are guys that you can build your house on.
Oh.
And so when you look at this team, certainly when you look at our team this year on our starters, we have at least 14 bricks. I mean, when you look at the on the defensive side by itself, you probably can count. You can count Bryce Callahan, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, A.J. Bouye, Von Miller, Todd Davis, Alexander Johnson, Chubb, Jarrell Casey, and that's just 7. That's 8 guys. That's 8 bricks already.
On one side of the ball,
then you go at our running back position. We got 2 bricks there.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying? We have 2 bricks there, and you can say on the tight end position, man, Van Eck coming over from the Seahawks.
Huge, yes.
He is a brick. Van is a brick.
Because you can't see over him.
Right.
He's the same height.
But also he's a fantastic blocker. And
Yes.
then at the wide receivers, look at at Cortland Sutton, Jarrell. Let's go. Sutton, Judy, and I think KJ Hamler is going to be one of those bricks. But I mean, we have bricks, man.
Yeah.
We have bricks. We have great players that you can build around, and then the rest of the guys kind of fit in. We call those guys mortar. We got them bricks and mortar.
Brick and mortar. Hey, couldn't have been said any better than that. Thanks, Alfred. Hey, we're going to throw it over to Phil Milani. He's interviewing the running backs coach, Curtis Markins. Phil, take us from here, buddy.
Thank you very much, Steve. Curtis, this year you have a 1-2 punch with Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay. How have you seen their competition make each of them better?
Yeah, I think we have a 1-2-3 punch. I think we got 3 players that I feel really comfortable with. I think all 3 of them, Royce, Philip, and Melvin, are really competing hard. They're on top of their stuff. There's always stuff that we can correct, but I think the more competition you have, I think the better. And those guys are definitely competing against each other.
We know Phil always has a chip on his shoulder. Have you seen him bring a little extra energy this time around?
No, I think Phil is. I think Phil's here because that's who he is. And I don't think anybody else coming in influences how the kid lives his life and how he competes. He is who he is, and he's done the same thing since day one.
And how do you feel like the running back's going to be used in this Pat Shurmur offense?
Well, I think that's to be decided. I think guys define their roles, and we're continuing to get to know them in this offense, what their skills are and ways we can use them. So I think it's going to be defined later on as we move forward, and I think it's going to be defined by them. But I do see that each one of them is going to have the ability to impact us winning.
And last one for you here. I know that you've been really passionate about get the vote out. Can you talk about how active you've been with that?
Well, I think most importantly, man, the credit should go to the organization for giving the platform from Allie and Liz and Ray and from the top on down, everybody that's been involved, giving the team the platform to discuss these issues. On a personal level, I just have always understood and always been kind of explained to me that no matter where you're from, what race you are, there have been a number of people in our country that have came before us that have fought for us to have the right to vote. And I think that's probably the fundamental glue that holds a democratic society together is the right to vote. And my deal with the guys is just to impress upon them that there's about a lot of people that have fought for us to have this right, and that it's up to us to use it. No matter who you're voting for, where you're from, whether you're from a red state or blue state, none of that matters. It's just that you have the right to vote, and we should exercise it.
Curtis, that's great work. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's send things over to Sydney Jones.
Thanks for that, Phil. Some good insight there from Coach Markins. Now, Broncos Country, if you're just now tuning in, we are doing social media giveaways every single day on our live show. And today it's time to announce our prize winner from yesterday, which is a signed football by Steve Atwater and Mark Jackson. And that prize is going to Tony Snyder. Congratulations, Tony. Broncos fans, if you haven't won yet, don't worry, because like I said, we're giving away a prize every day. And today's prize is a signed football by Hall of Famer Steve Atwater again, and his good friend Al Alfred Williams. Now, we'll be giving that away on tomorrow's live show, so make sure to tune in again. But in order to be selected, you must be following the Broncos on Twitter, and you must retweet the post about this football. Now, yesterday we were able to wire up Kareem Jackson and get some insight about what the guys are talking about on the field. Now, this is going to be something you're not going to want to miss.
On the fence, if you don't want nothing on camera, don't say nothing crazy, beat. I ain't gotta never watch what I say. It's up to them to beep it out. Hey, ain't no such thing as luck out here. It's called great defense. Let's rock, let's rock, let's rock. Let's rock. Let's go. Hey, communicate. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that though? Like, them hands just. I ain't gonna drop one. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, occasionally AJ. He ain't got all that time in 7 on. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Hey! 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 Young boy ain't got no feet work. Young boy ain't got no feet work. This ain't college, you gotta get 2 in. Oh, we got him! Oh, we got him! We got him! We got him! We got him!
K-Jack is always chirping down on the field there. Now, we're going to be doing those wired ups frequently throughout camp, so if you want to check those out, you can find them on denverbroncos.com and our social media channels. I also had the opportunity to catch up with one of the Broncos' Bill Walsh coaching fellows, Emily Zahler. We talked about her path to the NFL and how much it means to her being a part of the Broncos organization.
It's always been a dream of mine to coach within the NFL, and I heard about the Bill Walsh Coaching Fellowship and reached out to Coach Lando, Coach Fangio, and Mr. Elway, as being part of the Denver Broncos organization has always been a dream of mine. My role here is to help support the athletes in any way I can, as well as learn from, one of the best in the game. Coach Lando is a legend within the strength and conditioning field, and I could not think of a better place to be and a better opportunity than to learn under him and have the chance to work with him on a daily basis. Over the last decade, I've been told more times than I can count that I would never have the opportunity to work in the NFL or the NBA because I'm a woman. And there are a handful of women that have led the way for me, that have had the opportunity and have shown me that it is possible. And I hope to do the same for the next generation of female strength and conditioning coaches who want to work in elite male sport.
Emily and I talked more about what it's like being a woman in the strength and conditioning world and the challenges she's faced to get there. She talked about that on the Broncos' brand new podcast, The Snap, hosted by Alexis Perry and myself. On The Snap, we'll be giving a unique breakdown of the team while highlighting prominent women in the Broncos organization and around the NFL. Our first episode debuted this morning, so make sure to go check it out. Now, school year is going to be looking a lot different for most students with COVID-19 going on, but to help, the Broncos are still doing their Back to Learning program. The Broncos have partnered with Volunteers of America, King Soopers, and 9 News to help fundraise and distribute school supplies to different school districts, families, and students all across Colorado. If you want more information on that and to learn how to support, you can check out the website on your screen. Now, Broncos fans, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, you'll be joined again by Hall of Famer Steve Atwater and Big Al.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, is brought to you by Betfred, Bud Light Seltzer, Ford, and by USAA.
All right. Welcome back with Alfred Williams, Colorado Buffs, Denver Broncos, and what's the other team you play for?
No, those are 2 places. Broncos and Buffs.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yes, yes. Back again with Training Camp Live, powered by Ford.
I'm liking that, man.
Yes.
Where's that camera? Is it over there? I bet it's over there.
The Super Zoom, yes. Alfred, yes. Alfred has his binoculars. Where are your binoculars, Alfred?
Right
Show
here.
your binoculars.
I have them. These are my trusty binoculars to get to that field over there.
Yes, I was giving them a hard time yesterday, and then I couldn't see because they practiced mostly on that field yesterday, and so he was giving me a hard time afterwards.
I got to turn them around. There you go. Yeah, I love coming out here. I've been coming out here watching this team as a broadcaster now for 18 seasons.
Oh my goodness!
I can't believe that. So for 18 years, I've just come out here and covered the team, and being able to watch them this year, it feels like something special is going on. I just need to make sure that our quarterback can make those intermediate throws because he has a rocket arm. All the deep throws are going to be great. Those intermediate throws are going to be the ones that make this team great this year.
So, Alfred, I want to go back to the coach one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's important for the coaches to get across to their players that they want to win?
You know,
I mean, because obviously if you're on a team, everybody assumes you want to win.
Right.
But sometimes I've been on teams where it doesn't really seem like the coach wants to win.
Right. Well, it's not necessarily that they teach the players the fact that they want to win. You need a bunch of guys who hate to lose. You know what I'm saying? I like to look at it that way because I think the coach's job here is find the most talented guys on this team that hate to lose, because that's a different statement. Wanting to win, everybody wants to win, but the guys that hate to lose, those are the guys that'll do all the things that are necessary to win games. And football is a really tough game, man. It's a really tough game, and at some point you feel like I need a break, or let me tap out for a moment and let somebody else do this. And you need to find out who those guys are that tap out quickest so you'll know how to handle them and know how to set your team.
Oh, I'm with you. It's like we got the team drill going on here. Jeff Driscoll at the quarterback position. Royce Freeman running the ball there. You would have got stopped for maybe a 2-yard gain there.
It's something about seeing that helmet, man. It's something about seeing that helmet and the jersey and understanding we were the first ones to wear that new helmet and winning those Super Bowls in those helmets, man. I mean, every time I see them, it makes me smile. There's something about it for me.
Oh, yeah, and, hey, you're part of something special, part of the history here, Alfred.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm just so very proud of my time here and what this team means to this community. It really is a symbiotic relationship between Fall and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Alfred, as a defensive end, pass rush, what do you consider yourself? Defensive end, outside linebacker? What do you
defensive end in the NFL? And I was a linebacker in college, but a defensive end in the NFL.
Did you have to put on weight?
I did, man, and that was a tough proposition for me until I found the buffet. And when I found the buffet, it was no longer a problem.
It was easy then.
I mean, I went from 255 pounds one year to 290 pounds.
You played a year at 290?
I did, man.
No, you didn't.
I absolutely did. And I'm telling you, man,
that must have been after
getting to that 290.
What year was that?
Oh, my God. I think that was year 3 in the NFL because, they wanted me to be bigger. And, because I had a shoulder injury when I was a rookie, and they said I needed to put on some more weight because I was moving the defensive end. We moved the defense from a 3-4 to a 4-3. And so I think maybe 280, 285 or so, but it was it was a detriment to my career because to play this game, more than anything, you have to be a good athlete. You have to know how to stay on your feet and be able to move with crispness. And
Couldn't do that.
Can't do that, and putting on 35, 40 pounds in 1 year. And, when I went to the 49ers to play there for my lone season, I was 280, I guess, my last year in Cincinnati, and they told me, look, we need you to get to 255 pounds.
So you're like, man, wait a minute.
That was my weight in college.
Yeah.
They said, we want you to be able to run. And so when I got to the Broncos, I was 258, and I played in the Super Bowl, I was 258. And then when I stopped playing football, I went back to my buffet style, 285 pounds.
That's not funny, man. We're gonna work on that.
You're right. I got to work on that. I'm
man.
not like you. I'm not.
You don't have to be like me.
I'm not on the grind all the time in the basement.
You had the legs of an athlete.
My mind is telling me yes. My body is telling me no.
Very nice, very nice. So, our Facebook poll is complete. Alfred?
What group?
What group did you vote for?
Well, of course, I'm gonna say
defensive ends.
Defensive ends.
Guess what?
What is it?
We're going to the nose tackles. Mike Purcell, that home cooking. Mike Purcell is from right here in Colorado. McTelvin Agim and Deshaun Williams.
Right. When you look at this team and what they're trying to do from the nose tackle position, they usually put the nose tackle, and I need to explain why this position is important in this defense, because when you see a guy like Purcell or McTelvin, or you just saw Christian Covington, a guy who was a free agent pickup from the Cowboys, the centers in this league are smaller guys. When you put a bigger guy over top of them, what happens is the snap and the play count is all screwed up because they're getting dominated at the point of attack. So you want a bigger guy there that can dominate on both A-gaps, because the A-gaps are to the left and to the right of the center. Mm-hmm. And if you can get a dominant guy there just to hold those, just to make it neutral, you got a chance for guys to come and scrape and make great plays, both safeties and linebackers in those A and B gaps. And we were good there. Purcell changed the defense. As soon as he was inserted last year, he changed the defense. Yeah. And that gave us a chance to put Shelby Harris out to defensive end.
You know how strong those guys got to be to take on double teams?
Right. But remember, the initial contact is against the center, as you'll see right here. And you see what happens is you're strong enough to go front side, but then that last wiggle to pull yourself back over to the other side, that's a sign that you know what's going on and you know how to fall back into a tackle. And sometimes you don't get, when you're a defensive lineman, you don't get solo tackles. You don't get solo tackles as a defensive lineman. You get assisted tackles, and because you are falling back into plays and it's extreme effort. So I think about those guys and those guys that are able to do that. Petco was good at doing that when he was here.
Yeah, he was.
And now Purcell is that guy who did a great job last year.
And in 13 games, 7 starts, he had 48 tackles. He was active.
Right. You just
28 of those solo.
Right. You just saw a little play there where the runner started front side. Now he had his front side gap, and he was able to throw that guy. And this, once again, you just need to be able to fall back into that gap to be part of an assisted tackle.
How strong do you got to be? I mean,
when we had Terrence,
you don't measure that in bench press and squat, do you?
No, because when we had a guy like Terrence Knighton, the big fella, when we made our Super Bowl run, I don't think he was particularly strong, but he was slippery. Like being able to use those hands is so important, and to be able to extend, hit, recognize where your gap is, hold it for a second. And then you start looking for the ball, and that's what you can do, because once again, the centers aren't that big. Even Tommy Nalen.
No, they aren't that tall.
They aren't tall or that big. When you look at the centers in the NFL, we're looking at guys that are around 285 to 290. They're not 315 to 335 like the guards and the tackles.
You think so?
No, it's just it's just been the trend in this league because those guys.
Well, Cushionberry's 6'4", 315.
But he's the biggest guy. He's the biggest. If he starts this year at center, at some point he'll be the biggest center in the history of the Denver Broncos.
Really?
The biggest. You can't think of another guy who that was bigger than that. I mean, just think about historically what that position looks like.
Austin Slotman, 6'6", 300.
Yeah, that's a big guy, but not as big as 315, right? I mean,
he's 6'6" though.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the height. I'm talking about the weight. And when you're playing nose tackle, it's more about being able to handle the weight of the and the quickness of the center rather than the height.
Who's the third center
on this team this year?
Is it Jake Rogers?
I was looking at the roster and going through it. The one thing that I thought was that eventually it would be Lloyd Cushenberry to be the starter, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking, okay? I don't know where we go from there. Could it be
Austin
Slotman? Could it be one of these guys?
Jake Rogers?
Jake Rod. Could it be Tyler Jones? Who knows? But we know that we're only going to keep one center because, remember, both of our guards can play center. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I think Slotman makes the team because he can play both center and guard.
Slotman is in the running for the starting position.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's because he can play both center and guard is why you make that team, because you don't draft a guy as high as the third round and tell him to sit on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, but the way things have been this year with COVID, it may take a little bit longer to learn it. So there is an opportunity for an Austin Slotman to, be able to win that starting position just because, hey,
he's been there.
And he's developed as a player as well. And, I know guys, the longer they play, the more tape they've seen, the stronger they get, the more opportunity they have to be able to go out there and play well. Especially, I've seen that happen with offensive and defensive linemen.
Well, the veterans are certainly going to get the nod before the rookies because there's been no spring football, really. I mean, this, whatever they call that walkthrough period or ramp up to this in pads, that's all that they have, a reference point to the NFL. But when you look at Slotman, who's out of TCU, he's had a chance to be around here since 2018 and was on the practice squad. But listen, when they draft a guy in the third round, I'm just letting you know, man, eventually that guy is going to be a player for you. And this guy has come from a great pedigree of players at LSU. So Cushenberry, I think, will be the guy at some point. When that is, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Patrick Morris, he plays center as well.
Probably. And once again, those are the things that we probably won't get to this year. But just to give you an example, do you believe Jerry Jeudy is going to be the starter at wide receiver?
Eventually.
When? By game 4?
At the latest.
Okay. Well, then why do they put him in with the second team? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I mean, Cushenberry's going to have to earn it. Judy's going to have to earn it. But they have to be part of this team in this mix this year. This young core of athletes have to learn and grow together. You don't want them to make mistakes, but you want them to learn and grow together.
Yeah. Now, with wide receivers, they normally get reps with each of the groups anyway.
Yeah, but I mean,
because they're rotating in, they're rotating every play. They got different guys going in.
But really, I learned this from the great Rod Smith. When you're out there grinding and playing the game, you never want to come out the field. Even if you have a go route, go route equals go back into the huddle and get ready to play again. So I don't look at it that way. When the guy is talented, put him in there. Let's get him going. Von Miller, number 2 pick in the NFL draft, started immediately. Why not Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't have been said better. Alfred, It's going to do it for us, man.
My man.
Great job. I really appreciate you coming on with us. Officer, tell us where can people find you?
You can find
Everybody
me.
knows where to find you, but just in case somebody tuned in for the first time.
Right. Well, I'm on KOA radio with JoJo Turnbow, and we're on from 3 to 6 every day on KOA.
You got a great show, too.
Yes,
man.
it's a fantastic show, and you can also reach me at Big Al Radio on Twitter and on Instagram. Now, I'm not huge on Instagram, but we can get spicy on Twitter. And once again, every day from 3 to 6 on KOA here in the Denver metro area or everywhere on your iHeart Radio.
There we go. All right, Matt Boyer, that's a wrap for us. Take it from here. Thanks, my friend.
We can never have too much Big Al when it comes to Broncos Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. Our thanks to Big Al for stopping by. If you want to catch up on the latest happening with the Denver Broncos at training camp, head to denverbroncos.com or our Denver Broncos social channels. After today's practice, we will have live coverage of Coach Fangio, Jake Butt, and Alexander Johnson. Those are the 3 names scheduled to go to our virtual podium. And then, of course, training camp tonight. Alexis Perry will be by to recap the biggest moments and highlights from the day's camp. That's at 6:30 p.m. on Channel 20 locally, and then, of course, at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel. And don't forget about the Thrilogy starting August 22nd. That's this Saturday. The 3 games that led to the Broncos' 3rd Super Bowl title. The Steelers, Patriots, and Panthers games. Oh, I could rewatch those any time of day. Saturday, August 22nd. Check your local listings. We're going to be on locally in Denver, Grand Junction, and Colorado Springs. And then, of course, we're back. Same time, same place tomorrow for Broncos Training Camp Live. Our guests, the barefooted kicker, Rich Carlos, will be in the building. We've had an offensive player, defensive players, but Carlos will be our first specialist on Broncos Training Camp Live. So look forward to that tomorrow. Again, check the website and social channels for the latest information with regards to our start time. That'll do it for us here at UC Health Training Center. Special guest, special thanks to Alfred Williams, Steve Atwater, Sidney Jones, and Phil Milani. I'm Matt Boyer. Thank you so much for joining us, Broncos Country. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, has been brought to you by BetMGM, Bud Light, UC Health, and by U.S. Bank.